How many times have you told someone about your big dream? Think about that moment. The excitement in your voice, the validation you felt when they congratulated you. But here's what happened next. A few weeks go by. The momentum dies. The dream becomes another broken promise to yourself. This isn't laziness. This isn't lack of talent. This is something darker. Something that keeps 99% of people trapped in mediocrity. And most don't even know why. Stay with me. By the end of this story, you'll understand the one principle that separates people who achieve their dreams from those who just talk about them. It's not what you think. If you're watching this, you already sense something is wrong with how you've been approaching your dreams. If you want more of these uncomfortable truths about human behavior and power dynamics, subscribe to my channel. I release stories every week that decode what most people never figure out. Chapter 1. The Man with Infinite Plans. Let me tell you about James. He was 22 when I met him. Smart guy, ambitious. Everyone said he'd do great things. But here's what I noticed. Every few months, James had a new dream. A startup, a side business, a book deal, a crypto venture. And every single time he'd announce it. He'd post on Instagram, tell his family at dinner, share it with his co-working friends. And in that moment, he felt like a legend. People looked at him differently. He felt important, validated. His friends would congratulate him. Dude, that's sick. You're going to crush it. And James would feel like he already had. But 6 weeks later, the idea was abandoned. Not because it was a bad idea, because the announcement had already given him what his brain was seeking: status, validation, admiration. He moved on to the next dream, and the cycle repeated. Announcing your dream satisfies the same neurological reward that actually achieving it would. That's the pattern. Chapter 2. The Trap of Applause. James never realized what was happening to him. He thought he was just exploring ideas, but the truth was darker than that. He was addicted to the feeling of being admired. And here's how the trap worked. The moment he announced a dream, his brain got exactly what it was looking for. Social validation. People suddenly thought he was ambitious. Status elevation. He was now the guy with big plans. A dopamine hit from the feeling of infinite possibility. An identity affirmation that made him feel smart, visionary, like someone destined for greatness. All of this happened without any actual work, without any risk, without any failure. Think about that. He got the psychological reward of success before doing a single thing. So why would he actually do the work? That question changed everything for me, because I realized something profound. Most people don't want to achieve their dreams. They want to be seen as the type of person who has dreams. They want the identity without the burden of the work. It's a subtle difference, but it's absolutely devastating. Real achievement requires something completely different. It requires silence so you don't lose your motivation to the validation of others. It requires struggle that looks weak and messy to everyone around you. It requires failure that damages your image. It requires persistence without recognition. It requires grinding alone while everyone else moves on to the next person's announcement. That's the price of real success. But announcing gives you something entirely different. Immediate status. No struggle required. No failure. Just instant recognition and admiration. Which would your ego choose? I watched James do this over and over. He'd announce a business idea. Boom, dopamine hit. Everyone's impressed. His friends ask about it constantly. He feels like the man. 2 months later, when people ask how it's going, he makes an excuse, avoids the conversation, and quietly abandons it. Because the announcement had already satisfied what his brain was seeking. The dopamine was spent. The status was claimed. The identity was affirmed. The work became irrelevant. The applause becomes a substitute for the achievement, not preparation for it, not motivation for it. A complete substitute. Your brain tricks you into thinking you've already won. And here's what's insidious about it. James wasn't lazy. He wasn't untalented. He was neurologically hijacked by his own need for admiration. If you're watching this right now, you've probably done this. Most ambitious people have. We've all announced something we never built. We've all felt that dopamine hit from congratulations. We've all experienced the slow death of that motivation. And we've all made excuses instead of facing the shame. That's the trap. That's what keeps people stuck. Not lack of talent, not bad luck, not circumstance. It's the addiction to being seen as someone with potential instead of someone with results. Chapter 3: The Silent Mentor. James hit a wall at 27. All his announced dreams had died. Every single one. And the worst part? He'd become the punchline in his friend group. The guy who's always starting something new. The guy with all the ideas and zero results. You know that feeling when people stop asking about your dreams because they already know the answer? When there's a slight smirk in their eyes before you even finish talking. That was James. The shame was crushing. The kind that sits in your chest and makes you avoid old friends. The kind that whispers, "You're a fraud. You're all talk." That's when he met David. David wasn't what James expected. No fancy office, no success story. Just an older man who quietly ran a successful woodworking business out of a small studio. No Instagram, no announcements, no hype. No one knew about his work except the people who needed it. David had never heard of James's dreams. But David had built something real, something tangible, something that lasted. One day, James finally asked him the question that was destroying him inside. How did you do it? How did you get so successful without talking about it? David paused. Then he said something simple that changed everything. I learned early that every time I announced something, I felt like I already did it. So I stopped announcing. I just worked. That statement hit James like a punch. David continued, his voice calm and certain. When you speak your dream aloud, your brain treats it like a social contract. You've publicly claimed the identity. Your brain thinks the game is won. The dopamine is released. There's no urgency left. In that moment, everything clicked for James. All those years, all those announcements, all that shame. He'd been chasing the feeling of success, not actual success. Just the feeling, the high of being admired, the rush of validation, and the feeling had destroyed every single dream he ever had. He'd been playing a game where the only prize was a lie, and he finally understood why he always lost. Chapter 4: The Silent Revolution. When work becomes your secret weapon. James made a decision that terrified him. He decided to test what David told him. He picked one idea, one business, and he told absolutely nobody about it. Not a post, not a mention at parties, not his family, not even his closest friends. No one. He chose to start a consulting business. No announcement, no audience, just him and the work. The first few weeks were brutal, and I mean brutal. Why? Because without the external validation, his brain was starving. Starving for that dopamine hit he'd become addicted to. He was doing hard, unglamorous work with no one to admire him for it. No one to say, "That's awesome." No one to like his posts. No one to validate that he was on the right path. It felt pointless. He questioned everything. Was he even talented? Was this a waste of time? Why wasn't anyone watching? Why wasn't anyone cheering him on? This is the moment most people quit. When nobody's looking. When there's no applause. When the only person who knows you're trying is you. But something shifted in week 3. Something unexpected happened. Without the pressure of public expectations, without people waiting to judge his progress, James could fail. Quietly. He could experiment without fear. He could be bad at something without it damaging his image. For the first time in years, he had permission to be imperfect. That's freedom. Real freedom. By month 2, something real happened. He landed his first client. Money in the bank. A real result. No one knew yet. But he knew. And that feeling, knowing something real that no one else knows, that you built in the darkness, was completely different from announcing a dream. It was deeper. It wasn't dopamine. It was something stronger. It was actual self-respect. By month 4, he was making legitimate money. Real revenue, real clients, real impact. Only then did he mention it to a friend. Casually. Almost like it wasn't a big deal. The friend's reaction said everything. "Wait, you've been doing this the whole time? How long?" That shock. That disbelief. It hit different. Because this validation was real. It wasn't based on promises. It wasn't based on potential. It was based on results. On proof. On something undeniable. 1,000 Instagram likes could never match that moment. James had discovered something that changed his life forever. The work that matters most is the work nobody knows about yet. Chapter 5. When work speaks. Fast forward 1 year. James's consulting business is thriving. He's not famous. He's not on social media bragging about his success. But people know his work is real because they experience it. His reputation isn't built on his potential. It's built on his results. And here's the irony. Now that he's actually successful, the temptation to announce it is stronger than ever. His ego wants to shout about it, post about it, tell everyone. But he doesn't. Because he understands now. Each time he's tempted to announce something, he remembers what David taught him. The announcement will destroy the motivation. He's learned something that most people never figure out. Silence is power. The people who know his work spread his reputation for him. Not because he asked them to, but because the work is undeniable. He realized something profound. The people who achieve extraordinary things rarely talk about it while they're doing it. They talk about it after. And by then, no one doubts them. Think about that for a second. The most powerful people in the world don't announce their dreams. They announce their results. And the lesson James learned is simple. Your announcement is a tax on your achievement. Every word you speak about your dream is momentum you lose. Every person who congratulates you is a dopamine hit that should be channeled into the actual work. The world doesn't need to hear about your plans. It needs to see your results. And the results? They speak louder than any announcement ever could. James went from a man of words to a man of action. From chasing external validation to building internal evidence. From a reputation based on potential to a reputation based on reality. This story is about James, but it's also about you. If you're sitting in the shame of abandoned dreams, if you've felt the death of motivation after announcement, you're not alone. And more importantly, it's not too late to change. If this resonates, subscribe to my channel. Because in the next video, I'm revealing the second principle that separates people who achieve their ambitions from people who just dream about them. It's darker than this one, and it will change how you approach everything. This is the end of the story. Thank you for watching.